my esteemed colleagues on the bench, Mr. Ashok Parija, Learned Advocate General, Mr. Jagavanta Sahu, Learned President, and other office bearers of the Orissa High Court Bar Association, Mr. P.K. Padi, Learned Assistant Solicitor General, Government of India, learned senior advocates and members of the legal fraternity, members of the registry, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a sense of deep sadness that we assemble today to condole the demise of Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, former Chief Justice of India, who breathed his last on 23rd March 2022 at the age of 81 years. Justice Lahoti was born on 1st November 1940 in the district of Guna, Madhya Pradesh. He graduated from the Holkar College, Indore, and after obtaining the LLB degree, he enrolled as an advocate in his home district, Guna, in 1962. Justice Lahoti was recruited directly from the bar to the state higher judicial service in April 1977 and was appointed as a district and sessions judge. After serving as a district and sessions judge for a year, he resigned from the judicial service in May 1978 and reverted to practice mainly in the High Court of Madhya Pradesh. He earned name and fame as a lawyer. Being called to the bench was therefore inevitable. He was appointed as an additional judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court on 3rd May 1988 and was made a permanent judge on 4th August 1989. He was transferred to the Delhi High Court on 7th February 1994. When he was judge of the Delhi High Court in 1995, the Supreme Court of India appointed Justice Lahoti as the one-man inquiry commission to investigate into the claims of frustrated buyers of flats from Messrs. Skipper Construction Company Limited. More than 800 claims were investigated into and decided within a period of 12 months. On 5th November 1996, he was appointed as the one-man court of inquiry to investigate into the causes of the mid-air collision between the Saudi Arabia Boeing 747 and Kazakhstan IL-76 at Charki Dadri near Delhi and make recommendations for avoiding such accidents in future. The inquiry report was submitted on 15 July 1997 by accomplishing the task of international significance within a record time of 8 months. Both the investigations were conducted without suspending judicial work in the High Court, which shows Justice Lahoti's dedication and commitment towards his judicial work. Justice Lahoti was elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 9th December 1998, and after around 6 years, took over as the 35th Chief Justice of India on 1st June 2004, which office he held with distinction till 31st October 2005. Justice Lahoti also had immense interest in legal aid services and alternate dispute resolution systems. In 2005, he constituted the Mediation and Conciliation Project Committee, consisting of Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, advocates, government secretaries, and members from the NLSA to promote mediation as an alternate dispute resolution mechanism in India. It proposed a pilot project of judicial mediation in Tisazari courts. Upon success of this project, it was extended to other courts in Delhi. Now, court-annexed mediation centers are functioning in many courts across the country. In 2006, Justice Lahoti was presented with the National Law Day Award by the then Prime Minister for his unique contribution to the administration of justice. Among his other interests, Justice Lahoti worked towards educational reforms and in propagating Indian cultural values and traditions. After his retirement as Chief Justice of India, he served as an arbitrator in many high-profile matters. Justice Lahoti also served as an independent director on the Board of Directors of the Press Trust of India. He was appointed as an arbitrator by the Government of India in the Vodafone tax case that arose over Vodafone's acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa Limited's telecom assets in India. The dispute in this case pertained to issues of retrospective taxation, capital gains taxes, and transfer pricing. He was also on the advisory board of the Indian International Model United Nations and was also the chairperson of the advisory board of the Faculty of Law at Manav Rachna University. While in the Supreme Court of India, Justice Lahoti authored landmark judgments in various branches of law, particularly in the field of criminal law, civil law, tenancy, and property laws. I will refer to only a few of them here. In K, a judicial officer, in 2001, Justice Lahoti said, and I quote, "Judicial restraint and discipline are as necessary to the orderly administration of justice as they are to the effectiveness of the army. The duty of restraint, this humility of function should be constant theme of our judges. This quality in decision making is as much necessary for judges to command respect as to protect the independence of the judiciary. Judicial restraint in this regard might better be called judicial respect, that is, respect by the judiciary. Respect to those who come before the court, as well as to other coordinate branches of the state, the executive, and the legislature. There must be mutual respect. When these qualities fail, or when litigants and public believe that the judge has failed in these qualities, it will be neither good for the judges nor for the judicial process. A judge entrusted with the task of administering justice should be bold and feel fearless while acting judicially and giving expression to his views and constructing his judgment or order. It should be no deterrent to formation and expression of an honest opinion and acting thereon, so long as it is within four corners of law, that any action taken by a subordinate judicial officer is open to scrutiny in judicial review before a superior forum with which its opinion may not meet approval, and the superior court may upset his action or opinion. The availability of such fearlessness is essential for the maintenance of judicial independence. Justice Lahoti authored the 7-judge Constitution Bench in P. Ramachandra Rao versus State of Karnataka in 2002, while reaffirming the right to speedy trial, reiterating the decisions in Husainara Khatun and Menaka Gandhi. It was observed that it is the constitutional obligation of the state to dispense speedy justice, more so in the field of criminal law, and paucity of funds or resources is no defense to the denial of the right to justice emanating from Articles 21, 19, and 14, the preamble of the Constitution, and from the directive principles of state policy. In District Registrar and Collector Hyderabad versus Canara Bank, a landmark decision delivered in 2005, authored by Justice Lahoti, the Supreme Court was considering the provisions of the Indian Stamp Act 1899 as amended by a special law in Andhra Pradesh, Section 73 of which was invalidated by the High Court. It empowered the collector to inspect registers, books and records, papers, documents, and proceedings in the custody of any public officer to secure any duty or to prove or would lead to the discovery of a fraud or omission. After adverting to the evolution of the doctrine of privacy in the United States from a right associated with property to a right associated with the individual, Chief Justice Lahoti referred to the penumbras created by the Bill of Rights, resulting in a zone of privacy, leading up eventually to a reasonable expectation of privacy. The court repudiated the notion that a person who places documents with the bank would, as a result, forsake an expectation of confidentiality. In the view of the court, even if the documents cease to be at a place other than in the custody and control of the customer, privacy attaches to persons and not places, and hence it was held the protection of privacy is not diluted. The significance of the judgment in Canara Bank lies first in its reaffirmation of the right to privacy as emanating from the liberties guaranteed by Article 19 and from the protection of life and personal liberty under Article 21. Secondly, the court finds the foundation for the reaffirmation of this right not only in the judgments in Kharak Singh and Gobind versus State of Madhya Pradesh and the cases that followed it, but also in terms of India's international commitments under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Thirdly, the right to privacy is construed as a right which attaches to the person. The significance of this is that the right to privacy is not lost as a result of confidential documents or information being parted with by the customer to the custody of the bank. Justice Lahoti was a totally dedicated, hardworking, and conscientious judge who contributed richly to the development of law. He was a judge with a vision. He worked towards the betterment of the administration of justice. The demise of Justice Lahoti is a great loss, not only to his family and friends, but to the Indian judiciary as a whole, to a great extent. On behalf of my sister and brother judges, and on my own behalf, I express our heartfelt condolences to the members of the bereaved family and pray that the departed noble soul of Justice Lahoti rests in peace. We also pray for the strength and courage to the members of his family to bear the irreparable loss.
My Lord, Honorable the Chief Justice, my Lord's companion judges, members of the registry, the Assistant Solicitor General of India, Sri Prasanna Kumar Padi, the President of the High Court Bar Association, Sri Jagabandhu Sahu, Secretary, Vice President, and other office bearers, respected senior members of the bar, and my junior colleagues. May it please your lordships, on behalf of the state and my colleagues, I convey our deepest condolence on the sad demise of former Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, who breathed his last on Wednesday night. Honorable Justice Lahoti was born on November 1, 1940 and enrolled himself as a lawyer in 1962 at a young age of 22. His lordships quickly made a name for himself, and in 15 short years, he was appointed as a district and session judge straight from the bar. He, however, resigned quite soon in 1978 and reverted back to practice. In May 1988, he was again elevated, this time as an additional judge in the Madhya Pradesh High Court. He was thereafter transferred to the Delhi High Court in February 1994. In December 1998, Honorable Justice Lahoti was elevated as a judge of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. He retired as the Chief Justice of India as Chief Justice. During his tenure as Chief Justice, he headed several benches, including a 7-judge constitutional bench in P. Inamdar versus State of Maharashtra, 2005, Volume 6, SCC 537, which elaborately dealt with the constitutionality of restrictions which could be imposed on professional unaided educational institutions. He also headed the bench which expounded the powers of Chief Justices of the High Court and Supreme Court under Section 11(6) of the Arbitration Conciliation Act in SPP and Company versus Patel Engineering, 2005, 8 SCC 618. Honorable Justice Lahoti was a part of the bench in State of Punjab versus Devan Modern Breweries, 2004, 11 SCC 26, which upheld the inherent power of the state to charge a license fee for parting with exclusive privilege of trade in liquor. In this case, the state of Punjab had imposed import fees on beer, which had been imported into the state. The majority, including Justice Lahoti, held that the import fee is the price for parting which is given to a licensee to import beer into the state, and therefore the same is within the competence of the state to impose import fee. Late Justice Lahoti will be fondly remembered as one of the finest Chief Justices India ever had. He worked tirelessly to ensure speedy justice to the underprivileged. He was a highly ethical judge who considered the implications of his every action. He once said, when a judge sits on trial, he himself is on trial. During the course of hearings in AIMS Student Union versus AIMS 2002, Volume 1, SEC 428, responding to the criticism meted out by the parties against the judiciary, Justice Lahoti magnanimously said, the dignity of the ocean lies not in its fury, capable of causing destruction, but in its vast expanse and depth with enormous tolerance. A great judge, a great citizen, and above all, a great human being. He was all that and more. My Lord, our thoughts turn to this moment to the members of his family in a loss which is irreparable. I think it will be of some comfort to them to know that their loss is shared by a large number of people. And when time has softened their sense of loss, they will think proudly of the man who was not only a great judge, but a great human. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
My Lord Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. S. Muralidhar, My Lord Honorable Justice R.K. Patnaik, esteemed judges of our High Court, Sri Ashok Kumar Parija, Senior Advocate and Advocate in Odisha, Sri Prasanna Kumar Pari, Assistant Solicitor General of India, Learned Registrar General, Registrars and other officers of Registry, learned senior members and learned members of our bar, Secretary Dr. J.K. Lenka, Vice President Mr. T.P. Das, esteemed Executive Committee members of our High Court Bar Association, and all esteemed participants. I express my heartfelt condolence on the sad demise of former Chief Justice of India, late Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti. Justice Lahoti served as the 35th Chief Justice of India. He was appointed as Chief Justice, Supreme Court of India on 1st June 2004 and retired on 31st October 2005. Barely almost 18 months after his predecessor, Honorable Justice Rajendra Babu, who served for less than a month. Justice R.C. Lahoti was born at Guna in Madhya Pradesh on 1/11/40. His father, Sri Ratanlal Lahoti, was an advocate known for a very high degree of idealism and ethics in legal profession. He has been an eminent social worker of the region and freedom fighter. He was a staunch Gandhist and an old-time congressman. From his youth till his death, he used only khadi. Justice Lahoti had initial education at Guna in Madhya Pradesh, and his lordship did his BCom honors from R.A. Podar College of Commerce and Economics, Bombay, and graduation of law from Holkar College, Indore, and awarded gold medal for securing first position in the university. He enrolled as an advocate in home district. Justice Lahoti was recruited directly to the State Higher Judicial Service in April 1977, where he was appointed as session judge and resigned barely after a year in May 1978. On 3rd May 1988, Justice Lahoti was appointed as judge to the Madhya Pradesh High Court and thereafter transferred to Delhi High Court in February 1994. On December 9th, 1998, Justice Lahoti was appointed as Judge, Supreme Court of India. And on 1/6/2004, he was appointed as the Chief Justice of India. And during his nearly 7-year tenure as Judge, Supreme Court of India, Justice Lahoti had delivered almost 342 judgments. And in particular, in the year 2002, Justice Lahoti has authored 66 judgments. Justice Lahoti presided over a 3-judge bench in the case of Savarananda Sonowal versus Union of India. The Chief Minister of Assam, Savarananda Sonowal, filed a petition asking for a repeal of illegal migrants determination by Tribunals Act 1983. The Act placed the responsibility to prove an individual as an illegal migrant upon the police as opposed to the individual having to furnish proof of citizenship as provided in the Foreign Laws Act 1946. The court, in a judgment authored by Chief Justice Lahoti, repealed the act because it was violative of Article 14 and Article 355 of the Constitution of India. It was held that the reversal of the burden of proof in cases under the IMDT Act acted as a barrier to the detection of illegal migrants and was discriminatory against the people of Assam. Justice Lahoti upheld a Haryana law that did not allow those who with more than 2 children to contest local body election. He rejected the argument based on right to privacy and right to religion. The former Honorable Chief Justice has also served as an arbitrator in very many high-profile matters after retiring as Chief Justice. In 2015, Justice Lahoti was named arbitrator in Vodafone tax case that arose over Vodafone's acquisition of Hudson Whampoa Limited telecom assets in India, and the dispute pertained to issues of retrospective taxation, capital gains taxes, and transfer pricing involving disputes of amounting nearly 20,000 crores. Justice Lahoti also served as a former independent director on the board of directors of the Press Trust of India. Justice Lahoti will always be remembered as fearless and independent judge. On 15th November 1996, his lordship was appointed one-man court of inquiry to investigate into causes of mid-air collision between South Arabia Boeing 747 and Kazakhstan IL-76 at Charkhi, Dadri near Delhi, and make recommendations for avoiding such accidents in future. The inquiry report was submitted on 15 July 1997 by accomplishing the task of magnitude and international significance within a record time of 8 months. Both the commissions were conducted without suspending the judicial work in the High Court. His lordship has been actively associated with the Judicial Officer Training Program during his lordship's tenure as judge of Delhi High Court. Justice Lahoti, a noted jurist, was economic with words and probably the least vocal among recent Chief Justices. He served one of the longest terms as Chief Justice in recent years, retiring from office after 17 months. In November 2004, Chief Justice Lahoti broke ground with many of the predecessors who had expressed concern about growing corruption within judiciary by proclaiming that judiciary in India was clean. This was an astounding statement, especially in the light of frequent exposures in the media about errant judges across the country. Chief Justice handling of judicial transfers has also attracted controversy. In February 2005, Chief Justice B.K. Rai was transferred from Punjab and Haryana High Court to Guwahati High Court on Chief Justice Lahoti's watch. Justice Lahoti had participated in several international conferences and seminars related to law and justice. A few of them are Law Asia Conference held in Tokyo, Japan, that is in August-September 2003. SAARC-CLW conference held in Karachi, Pakistan in February 2004. Biennial Conference of International Law Association held in Berlin, Germany in August 2004. Yale Law School seminars on global constitutionalism in 2000 to 2003. He was also a member of 4th Indo-US Legal Forum held in Washington and San Francisco in October 2002. He had participated in the Worldwide Common Law Judiciary Conference on Chief Justice in 2005 in Washington, USA. The 8th SAARC Law Conference held in Palm, Bhutan, Aun 2005. 14th Commonwealth Law Conference in London in the month of September 2005, and Global Constitutional Seminar at Yale Law School in Connecticut, USA, also in the month of September 2005. I, on behalf of High Court Bar Association, express my heartfelt condolence on the sad demise of former Chief Justice of India, late Ramesh Chandra Lahoti. May the departed soul rest in peace in the heavenly abode. I pray for the Almighty to give enough strength and courage to the members of the bereaved family to withstand such huge loss. With this, I conclude the message of condolence.
As a mark of respect to the departed soul, let us observe 2 minutes silence. The court work will remain suspended for the rest of the day.